You're 52 and your retirement account balance says $4,300. You haven't told anyone, not your spouse, not your friends, definitely not your kids. Everyone assumes you're doing fine. You have a decent job, a car that runs, a house you're still paying off, but behind the numbers, there's this quiet panic building. You should have started decades ago. You know this, but you didn't. And every piece of financial advice feels like it's written for someone younger. Here's what they won't tell you. You don't need 20 investments, you need 3. And I'm going to show you exactly which ones. Let me introduce you to Michael. He's 54 years old. He earns $72,000 a year as a warehouse supervisor. He's been at the same company for 19 years. On paper, he's doing fine. In reality, he has $11,000 in a forgotten 401k from a job he left in 2009. That's it. That's his entire retirement savings after 3 decades of working. Michael isn't lazy. He isn't bad with money. He's just lived an actual life. In his 20s, he was paying off $34,000 in student loans. In his 30s, his wife got sick. The medical bills ate through everything they had. In his 40s, he got divorced. Half of nothing is still nothing, but lawyers cost money he didn't have. Then his daughter needed help with college, then his car died, then his mother needed care. Every single financial article Michael has ever read says the same thing. Start early. Compound interest is magic. Time in the market beats timing the market. All of this is true, and all of it is completely useless to someone starting at 54. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't a character flaw. This is a timing problem disguised as a moral failure. Over 40% of Americans between 55 and 64 have less than $25,000 saved for retirement. Michael isn't an outlier. He's the norm. The system isn't designed for people who had medical emergencies, divorces, recessions, or kids. It's designed for robots who started maxing out their Roth IRA at 22 and never stopped. So let's build an actual playbook for people who live in the real world. Here's the thing. Most financial advice won't tell you. When you're starting late, you don't need a complex portfolio. You don't need 15 different funds, sector allocations, and rebalancing spreadsheets. Complexity is the enemy of action. The more complicated your plan, the less likely you are to follow it. What you need is something so simple you can set it up in one afternoon and never think about it again. 3 ETFs, that's it. Let me show you exactly which ones and why. The first ETF is your growth engine. This is VTI, the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. When you buy VTI, you're buying a tiny piece of essentially every publicly traded company in America. Over 4,000 companies in one fund. Apple, Microsoft, the local bank you've never heard of, all of it. The expense ratio is 0.03%. That means for every $10,000 you invest, you pay $3 per year in fees. Historically, the total US stock market has returned roughly 10% annually over the long term. This is your wealth builder. The second ETF is your income generator. This is SCHD, the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. SCHD holds about 100 companies specifically selected for their ability to pay consistent, growing dividends. Companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Home Depot, these are businesses that have paid dividends for decades. The current yield hovers around 3.5%. Here's why this matters for late starters. While you're waiting for your money to grow, it's also paying you. Every quarter, dividends hit your account. You reinvest them, your money makes money that makes more money. The third ETF is your sleep at night fund. This is BND, the Vanguard Total Bond Market ETF. Bonds are boring. They don't make you rich, but they do something crucial. They reduce volatility. When the stock market drops 30%, your BND allocation might only drop 5%. This matters because the biggest risk for late starters isn't low returns, it's panic selling. If your entire portfolio crashes and you sell at the bottom, you've locked in your losses forever. BND is emotional insurance. Now, the allocation. For someone in their early 50s, a simple split works. 50% VTI, 30% SCHD, 20% BND. This gives you growth, income, and stability. As you get closer to retirement, you shift more toward bonds. But for now, this balance lets you capture market growth while sleeping at night. You're not building a hedge fund. You're not trying to beat Wall Street. You're building a bridge from where you are now to a retirement that doesn't terrify you. 3 funds, 1 allocation, automatic contributions, that's the entire strategy. Let's run the numbers. Say you're 52 years old, zero saved. You decide to start this week. You open a brokerage account, set up automatic transfers, and begin investing $600 per month into these 3 ETFs. That's $7,200 per year. Not easy, but possible for most dual income households or single earners willing to cut expenses. At a conservative 7% annual return, here's what happens. After 10 years, when you're 62, you'll have approximately $104,000. After 13 years, when you're 65, you'll have roughly $152,000. After 15 years, at 67, you're looking at around $190,000. These aren't fantasy numbers. These are based on historical averages, and they assume you never increase your contribution, even as your income grows. Now let's talk about what that money does for you. By 65, your SCHD allocation alone could be generating around $1,600 per year in dividends. That's an extra $130 per month you didn't have before. Combined with Social Security, that changes your retirement math entirely. Here's the comparison that matters. If you do nothing, you will have nothing. If you start now, you will have options. That's the entire calculation. Will $150,000 make you rich? No. Will it let you retire with dignity, supplement Social Security, cover unexpected medical bills, maybe work part-time instead of full-time? Yes. The best time to start investing was 30 years ago. The second best time is this week. But here's what actually matters more than which ETFs you pick. The strategy only works if you follow it. And following it requires understanding the 3 behaviors that separate people who build wealth from people who don't. The first behavior is automation. You cannot rely on willpower. Willpower fails. Every month you'll find a reason to skip your investment. The car needs repairs. The holidays are coming. You'll catch up next month. You won't. The only way to guarantee consistency is to remove yourself from the equation entirely. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your brokerage account. The money moves before you see it. You can't spend what you never touch. The second behavior is ignoring the noise. The financial media exists to generate clicks, not to help you build wealth. Every week there's a new crisis. The market is crashing. The market is overheating. Sell everything. Buy everything. Here's the truth. None of it matters for your 15-year timeline. The market will crash at some point while you're investing. It will also recover. It always has. Your job is to keep buying through both. The person who invested $500 per month through 2008 and 2009 is significantly wealthier today than the person who panicked and sold. The third behavior is patience. This is the hardest one. You won't see dramatic results in year 1, or year 2, or even year 5. Compound growth is invisible at first. It feels like nothing is happening. Then, around year 7 or 8, the curve starts to bend. By year 10, you're watching your money grow faster than you can contribute. But you have to survive the boring years first. Here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about catching up to some imaginary benchmark. You're not racing against the 25-year-old who started maxing out their IRA in 2010. You're racing against the version of yourself who does nothing. That version retires with Social Security alone, panics about every medical bill, and works until their body gives out. The version of you who starts this week retires with options. Maybe you work part-time doing something you enjoy. Maybe you move somewhere cheaper. Maybe you just have the peace of knowing that an unexpected expense won't destroy you. $80,000 changes your life more than $0. $150,000 changes it more than that. This isn't complicated. It's just math plus time plus consistency. You're not too late. You're just late. And late still beats never. If you want to learn exactly how to set this up, which accounts to use, how to automate everything, and how to adjust your allocation as you get closer to retirement, subscribe to this channel. We break down wealth building strategies for people who live in the real world, not financial fantasies. New videos every week. Each one gets you one step closer to a retirement that doesn't keep you up at night. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.